Alright, so um, I don't really have a set thing that I'm going to talk about for this video, though there has been a lot going on. Um, Also to note that my fiance watched my last video and she said, clean up the coffee table before I do another one, which I clearly have not. Anyways, so what has been happening? I went to the endocrinologist and had my blood work done. So, I didn't particularly like the endocrinologist. I felt like she didn't really make me feel super comfortable. And when I asked her things like, as about doing like a subcutaneous injection over an intramuscular, she was like, oh, whatever, it's a small needle, blah, blah. So that didn't really make me feel like super happy about her, but she will do. She, you know, obviously has done this before and can handle the medical side. So I get to hear the results of the blood work on the 18th, which I'm thinking then maybe she'll write my prescription. So that is kind of coming up. I guess maybe the bigger things that have come up is I had a big talk with my fiance about her fears about transition and stuff, which was frustrating on some level to have to do because I just wanted her to like be able to support me instead of me feeling like I was supporting her, and that was kind of felt a little bit bad. But it's better now, and that's positive. Um, but the bigger thing is that I came out to my mom and my sister, not actually coming out as trans, I guess, because they already knew about some of my gender stuff, but um, told them about medical transition. And that went really complicatedly, not word. Um, so I basically prefaced my mom that, she's known about my gender struggles and that I've been like feeling like I need to talk about it with her and like maybe pursue some kind of course of treatment. So she knew that. And so I sent her this long email that had like a trajectory of like how I felt historically. And like for her, she's like very religious. She was raised Catholic. So I addressed a lot of what she had mentioned before as like being her spiritual concerns. And then I talked about like, what I needed to feel like I could move through the world like at peace, and what transition entailed and what to expect and how much I do respect her and need her support. So, I tried to word that really well, as much as something that is going to be shocking to her can be worded. Um, and that was really nerve-wracking, and I put like a pared down version of that email I sent to my sister. So basically my mom had a lot of trouble after reading that email, and said that she felt like she can't be supportive, and um, that she doesn't know if we can be in each other's lives, and she doesn't know how much she wants to support me, and just basically like all like just these spiraling things that were not positive. Um, so that was really hard and scary, and is all really concerning, because you know I suspected that this would be really hard, but to hear some of those things was really rough, and to think that it could be a reality of not having my mom in my life is not something that I want to consider. So that was last night, and that was just really hard. Um, and my sister texted me too, um, and saying that she hadn't read the email because she's been busy, but she's going to. And I was like, well, I hope it isn't too upsetting, because basically this is what happened, like with my mom and stuff. And then my sister was like, I just read it, and mother had told me some stuff, and it's gonna be okay, and she's not where we want her now, but it will be okay, and that it will take like a lot of love and patience and understanding for us all to get through this, but that we will. And that was so helpful to hear. So nice. And I mean, she said like she was going to call and talk to me at some point, but that she basically wasn't ready to yet, which I like totally supported. I'm just like really worried about stuff with my family. My family's super important to me, and it feels really bad that this decision that's about like my struggles is basically being perceived as something by my mom, and I don't know who, like I'm not really out to members of the extended family yet. This was like the first line of coming out as just like possibly really selfish and not spiritually acceptable, which is, up for interpretation. And just that, there was this really big lack of understanding, and at a time where I'm scared and worried and need support too. I mean, I'm also excited and stuff, but the social aspect and even the physical aspect of all the unknowns is just a time when, you could really use all the important people in your life, and maybe you could just use your mom to be there. And even if she doesn't get it and she doesn't understand and she doesn't necessarily support my transition, just for her to be here because I'm her kid and she loves me, which I had to talk with her today, not about anything gender related, but just about the lease that I'm signing. And I sent her this magnolia tree for Mother's Day, and she got it. So she called me to say thank you. And we didn't talk about anything about any of the previous stuff that we talked about, just talked about that, but that was comforting that we could even do that. So I'm hoping that her reactions are just like initial reactions, because they are initial reactions. I'm hoping that they get easier. I think I'm going to end this now. Basically, a lot is going on. I'm so glad that I waited until I turned in my last paper. I mean, I'm in a grad school program right now for counseling, until I sent those emails, because it was such an emotional blow to have to deal with all of this. But I will keep everyone updated, what happens at my next doctor's appointment, what happens with my mom and my sister, and the rest of the process. All right, later.